Can't you guys just get along? I mean, settle it with a hug. Captain America Civil War stars Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., and is directed by the Russo brothers. So guys, before I get started, let me just say this is going to be a spoiler-free review, then I'm going to give my rating, then we're going to talk some spoiler stuff. So if you haven't seen the movie, you're fine up until after I give the rating. But once I do that, then you are dismissed. And also, let me just say, I just talked for 15 minutes, and I didn't even hit the record button on this. So I'm doing this for a second time now. I'm an idiot. So guys, there were two movies that I wanted to see this year. There was Batman v Superman and then Captain America Civil War. These are the two big ones, and finally I've seen both of them. And let me just say, loved Batman v Superman, really loved Captain America Civil War. I guess that means I can have my cake and eat it too. But this was really a great movie. So in Captain America Civil War, Iron Man and Captain America, they have been butting heads ever since the first Avengers, really. The movie opens up with a huge battle scene with Captain America's group and Crossbones, and a huge explosion happens because of Scarlet Witch, and this results in a lot of casualties. And this is nothing new. This happened in New York. This happened in Sokovia. And it's just something that keeps on happening. There's always collateral damage. So Thunderbolt Ross wants everybody to sign an accord to be put in check, to put superheroes in check. And because Tony Stark has a personal connection with one of the victims of Sokovia, he understands this and he wants everybody to sign it. And of course, Captain America is not having it. He does not want to sign it. He doesn't want to be controlled. But really the big thing that sets everything in motion in this movie is Bucky. There's an incident involving the Winter Soldier, and there are some casualties, so the government is after him. But Captain America knows that something's not right, something is fishy, and he ends up taking the side of Bucky. And I'm not gonna really get into that because that does involve some spoilers, but let me just say that's what sets this whole thing into motion. And guys, I gotta say this movie is just huge. There's so much to digest, there's so many characters, and I think given all the characters, the Russo brothers really handled all these characters really well. And it has some amazing action scenes. I love the action scenes, but it doesn't just depend on action scenes. There is a really deep and layered story in Civil War. And a lot of things happen because of trust and misdirection and deception. And I'm not gonna spend this review talking about all the characters, but I do wanna talk about a few of them. Black Panther is a character that I never knew anything about, and I gotta say he is really awesome in this movie. He just really looks badass, and a lot of his spotlight was stolen in the marketing for this movie because of Spider-Man. Spider-Man is one of the most beloved characters in all of comics, so putting him in this movie with all these other superheroes is definitely going to steal the spotlight, and he is great in this movie. But to get one of the cons out of the way, I will say I felt like he was kind of shoehorned in the movie, but it didn't take away from my enjoyment. That fight scene at the airport, Spider-Man really shines in all the scenes that he's in. Also, I really loved Scarlet Witch in this movie. She's definitely one of the characters that is the most conflicted about this. She kind of sees both sides. And I totally get where she's coming from. That's what's great about this story. You do see both sides. There's no right and wrong in this movie. You could really debate both sides, and there are some personal interests in both sides. Also, Paul Rudd was so good in this. I believe he was better in this movie than he was in the solo Ant-Man movie. He had so many funny scenes, and he really is the comic relief, I think. Because all the Marvel movies have a lot of comedy in them, but I think this has the least comedy aside from Ant-Man. And there is one scene at the airport that was just so awesome, and I think if you've read the Ant-Man comics, you'll know what I'm talking about. And finally, I gotta mention Bucky, Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier was probably my favorite part of this movie. He was just awesome. And I think he's a big part of why Winter Soldier was such a great movie. He is just an interesting character, and he really is the centerpiece of this movie. So guys, overall, I'm definitely gonna give this movie a high purchase worthy. It might even be Trapped on an Island. I'm not sure yet. I'm really just digesting it all right now because like I said, it is a big movie, but it's probably the best, if not one of the best Marvel movies. It is really great. So anyway, guys, that is my spoiler-free section. Now let's get into some spoiler talk. If you haven't seen this movie, I suggest turning off here, go watch the movie, then come back and watch my spoiler talk. So the first thing I really want to talk about in the spoilers is Zemo, Baron Zemo. They completely ignored him in the marketing for this movie, but he is really the main villain of this movie. He is the guy that set up all this misdirection. And really, he made Iron Man and everybody think that Bucky was the main villain in this movie, when in fact that wasn't the case. And I really liked him in this movie. I thought he was a good villain. You know, he really stayed behind the scenes. He was kind of the puppet master of everything. And also, I love how that last scene, you know, the final showdown between Captain America and Iron Man played out, because in the trailers, it made you think that immediately they went, you know, into battle, when actually Iron Man found out the truth and he goes to let Captain America know. And so everything was hunky-dory. But then we find out that Bucky in 91 actually killed Iron Man's parents. And you can see why Iron Man, you know, flipped out in that scene. And that's really what caused them to fight. And for a second there, I thought that Iron Man was dead. So anyway, guys, that is my spoiler talk. What did you guys think of Captain America Civil War? I really enjoyed this movie. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to my channel, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, and Drumdum out.